The process of supplying electrical power to rural and remote locations is known as rural electrification. Rural towns are experiencing massive market failures as national systems fail to meet their electrical needs. In today's video, we're going to delve into the electrical work in remote places and how this differs from urban areas. Electrical work in remote places around the world. Over 1 billion people, roughly 14% of the world's population, live without electricity. Rural areas account for 84% of those without power, largely in sub-Saharan Africa and Asia. And these estimates don't include the many more people for whom electricity is frequently intermittent and excessively expensive. Rural areas are not linked to the energy grid for a variety of reasons. The network that delivers electricity from producers to consumers. Building infrastructure in certain areas is simply too difficult and expensive due to the harsh, huge, or isolated nature of the landscape. Even if a grid exists, it may be insufficient to carry electricity across. In other circumstances, low population density means that utilities have no incentive to connect to these settlements to the grid. Without access to the grid, many communities rely on harmful and expensive energy sources, including kerosene, candles, dry cell batteries, and diesel generators. Electricity is critical to people's livelihoods, economies, and poverty reduction in today's world. Here are 3 strategies for improving power access in developing countries, rural and remote locations. Rural electrification. Typically, electrification begins in cities and towns and progressively spreads to rural regions. However, in poor countries, this process frequently encounters roadblocks. Expansion of the national grid is costly, and countries frequently lack the financial resources to expand their current infrastructure. Furthermore, in sparsely inhabited areas, amortizing capital costs to minimize the unit cost of each hookup is more difficult, yielding higher per capita share of the expense. Rural areas will benefit greatly from economic and social growth if governments can overcome these challenges and achieve statewide electrification. In several locations, renewable off-grid firms have sprung up to supply the demand for electricity in rural areas. Rural areas are expensive and difficult to connect to the national grid because of their remote location and low aggregate demand. Mini-grids based on renewable energy are less reliant on larger-scale infrastructure and may be built faster and for less money. 3 ways to bring electricity to remote areas around the world. Renewable energy. Renewable energy sources such as solar panels, wind turbines, hydropower, and biomass can provide long-term and cost-effective alternatives for off-grid populations. Communities don't need grid access, and renewable energy is typically less expensive for customers in the long run. Renewable energy sources can be employed as standalone power generators or to supplement current types of electricity, therefore these solutions can be adjusted locally. Renewable energy has also been demonstrated to enhance air quality inside houses and lessen the risk of fire caused by candles and oil lamps for women in isolated villages. Solar lighting also allows for extended study and work hours, as well as more flexibility. Take Papua New Guinea, for example, where only 20% of houses have electricity and only 12% are connected to the grid. By selling solar devices that gave light and a place to charge mobile phones, a partnership between Digicel, a mobile phone network, and Australia's Business Partnerships platform was able to deliver safe, reliable, and inexpensive electricity to over 200,000 people. Digicel began by streamlining operations and channeling stock through wholesalers to optimize its supply chain. Ecosystem approach. In order to develop sustainable solutions, ecosystems must be examined locally and comprehensively. There's no such thing as a one-size-fits-all solution. Locally tailored solutions will result in greater long-term advantages for the community. You'll have to respond to questions like, what are the biggest difficulties facing the communities? In a household, who makes the decisions? What are the best ways for businesses to spread the word? Which payment methods will be effective? It's also crucial to comprehend how the ecosystem functions as a whole. This could involve operating company landscape assessments, stakeholder mapping, knowing how regulatory bodies work, and estimating how long it will take to secure permissions. And as with any ecosystem, the solution will be implemented successfully if there is a balance of the proper trusted partners. Innovative financing. Innovative financing is critical in these often complex operating environments for producing extra money or maximizing the use of existing capital. Subsidizing consumer and business prices is one way that innovative financing may be utilized to ensure that everyone has access for power. For many low-income consumers around the world, grid electricity is excessively expensive. Renewable energy is more cost-effective in the long run for customers, but it has a significant initial investment cost. This initial investment is subsidized thanks to innovative financing. PEG Africa, for example, is a West African company that provides solar household systems. It sells solar panels on credit, allowing clients to pay in lower installments while still gaining ownership. In distant places and for individuals who previously couldn't afford energy, it's having a significant impact. Benefits of rural electrification. There are obviously endless benefits for bringing more power and more electricity accessibility to remote areas in countries lacking this necessity. I'm going to list some of the benefits below. Education. Electricity enables long-term economic and social development. The first through improved educational achievement. Students who previously had to study when the sun was shining can now study early in the morning or late at night under illumination of LEDs. In Kenya, for example, interviews with instructors found that having access to light has allowed for extra hours of teaching earlier and later in the day to cover content that was not sufficiently covered during normal hours. Furthermore, schools with access to electricity are able to recruit higher quality teachers, and test scores and graduation rates have improved, increasing the human capital entering the workforce. Job creation. Thousands of jobs, spanning from company development to construction, are needed to extend the electrical system. Electricity distribution projects generate a lot of jobs and help people get out of poverty. India, for example, has set a goal of installing 175 gigawatt of sustainable energy by 2022 in order to promote electrification across the country. To achieve this lofty ambition, an estimated 300,000 employees will be required. Improvements in healthcare. The availability of electricity has the potential to significantly improve the quality of healthcare delivered. Improved illumination allows patients to come in for treatment for longer periods of time. Refrigerators can be used to store vaccines and blood, both of which are extremely valuable. Sterilization methods will be upgraded, and high-tech instruments such as X-rays and ultrasound scanners will be installed to give doctors and nurses the tools they need to accomplish their jobs. 140 families in Diara Rashalpur, a cluster of villages on the Ganges, are without power. Locals are compelled to cross the river for treatment or immunizations, which takes 2 to 3 hours. Treatment would be significantly more accessible to the local community if they had access to power. What is electricity like in urban areas, and how is it different? In metropolitan areas, having access to safe, legal, dependable, and economical electricity is very easy and helps drastically to improve socioeconomic conditions and reduce vulnerability. For example, access to streetlights within urban neighborhoods was considered as improving inhabitant safety, both actual and perceived. Access to electricity is also expected to open up opportunities for other revenue-generating enterprises, as well as allowing children to study at home with sufficient illumination, which has been shown to boost educational outcomes. Thermal comfort is a concern, particularly in urban buildings constructed with improvised materials. Access to power allows users to adjust the temperature. As you can see, power in the city and urban areas is very easily accessible, and because it is easily accessible, it creates plenty of benefits for those using it. But in remote areas, the absence of electricity can be extremely damaging, meaning those in that area lack quality education, health benefits, and proper hygiene. It's very important to start getting electricity out to these remote areas to greatly improve the residents' lives. And there you have it, everything you need to know about electrical work and how it differs from the rural and remote areas to urban areas. It is clear that urban areas are much more ahead of remote and rural areas when it comes to accessibility to electricity. It is very important to work on rural electrification and providing electricity to these remote third world countries that desperately deserve this basic necessity. We're curious to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. If you're already an electrician running your own business or just about to start and grow your own electrical business, you must learn the 4 critical things electrical business owners wish they had learned before starting an electrical business so you don't make the same mistakes. Electrician Accelerator have put together a free training video that you can watch right now that will show you exactly how to start, grow, and build your electrical business the right way so you can consistently guarantee profitable work. Free up your time, all whilst reducing stress levels and allowing you to have a sustainable and more profitable business that works for you. In this free training video, you will learn how to generate a steady stream of jobs on demand and with predictability month after month in your local area without relying on word of mouth and referrals, how to stop competing on price with other electricians and escape your competition, how to convert at least 90% of your quotes and estimates into sales, and how to command premium prices and attract high-quality customers that will be happy to pay more. Click on the link in the description below the video. Thanks for watching.